At a job fair in Xi'an, a company caused an uproar by advertising an information technology engineer position with a monthly salary of 1 to 1,000 yuan. The tiny figure of 1 felt like a brutal blow to the hopes of millions of newly graduated university students. In a city where even lunch costs more than 20 yuan, a 1 yuan salary is little short of an insult. One enraged student said it would be better to work for free than to accept 1 yuan. Right next to it, a research institute for building materials was offering bachelor's degree holders a monthly salary of 2,200 yuan, a sum so low it would not even cover the rent. These figures, which at first glance seem absurd, in fact reflect the reality that China's labor market is quietly collapsing. Hundreds of thousands of new graduates, fully aware they are being exploited, are accepting any job they can get. For educated young people living in major cities, a monthly salary of around 3,000 yuan is far too little. Yet the reality is harsher still. Across China, more than 600 million people now live on monthly incomes below 1,000 yuan, a staggering fact that even Chinese residents of the largest cities find hard to believe.
我想问一下，现在大家都这么有钱了吗？我说我一个月工资1000块钱。
Are people today really all that rich? When I say, I only make 1,000 yuan a month, nobody believes me. In the comments, all I see are people doubting it, saying, there's no way anyone still makes 1,000 yuan a month these days. But I want to say this, has the gap between rich and poor really gotten this big? Is making 1,000 yuan a month really that strange? I don't know where everyone else lives. But I live in a small county in Shaanxi province. There are tons of jobs here that pay just a little over 1,000 yuan a month. Even in many state-owned companies and public institutions. The salaries are in the 1,000 yuan range, with maybe a small bonus or some benefits at the end of the year. Cashiers at supermarkets, sales staff in clothing stores, front desk jobs in shops and other service work. Most of them only pay around 1,000 to 2,000 yuan a month.
On Chinese social media, the phrase 1 yuan salary quickly shot to the top of the search rankings. Timelines are filled with lamentations that even after working for a month people cannot afford food, let alone dream of anything. In Xi'an, the usual starting salary for IT graduates ranges from 5,000 to 8,000 yuan, but in the current downturn many companies pay 2,000 yuan or even less. The Chinese economy has now entered a full-scale recession. The property market is plunging, traditional industries are stagnating, and consumer indices continue their free fall. From the record drop in pork prices to airline tickets collapsing by 80%, every sign points to the cooling of this vast economic engine. One economic observer said the crisis is no longer a forecast but is unfolding as a daily reality.
What exactly is the root cause of the economic downturn? If you look at it from another angle, the people who aren't directly creating wealth are always the ones who end up in a favorable position when it comes to distributing that wealth. Meanwhile, the people who actually create wealth don't have any way to restrict them. Because of that, as time goes on, the economy is bound to stall. And all kinds of corruption start to appear. Honestly, a lot of money is just being wasted. Don't ask why it turns out like this. It goes against human nature, and it goes against the laws of heaven. Sooner or later, cause and effect will bring its payback.
Amid the crisis, young people like Zhang Nan, a graduate of the finance department at Shandong University, have become its typical victims. She has sent out more than 300 resumes, yet received responses from only 2 companies, both of them small firms offering salaries lower than what she spent on living costs as a student. She said she once believed that hard work would somehow lead to a way forward, but she can no longer believe that now. Her father, a taxi driver in Qingdao, could only sigh that after studying for more than 10 years she might end up returning home to rent a street stall.
My mom ran a food stall and still managed to put me through university. But now that I've graduated, I ended up coming back to run a stall anyway. To be honest, it kinda hurts just talking about it. I majored in law. If I hadn't gone to that vocational college for those 3 years, I could have saved 100,000 yuan. If I'd used that money to work the stall with my mom from the start, maybe by now we'd be doing way better.
Unemployment is no longer an individual problem but a burden on entire families. Each time a young person loses a job, a household loses its support. As parents' expectations collapse and student loan debts remain, education once called an investment in the future now sounds like a bitter joke.
To be honest, you probably shouldn't expect too much from running a stall. I set up at 5 p.m. today and didn't get home until 1 a.m. I stood there for a total of 7 hours and only sold 3 things. One was to someone just passing by, and the other 2 were bought by followers from social media who came to support me. Just 3 in total, the sales came to 48 yuan. On the way home I got hungry and bought some bread for 19 yuan. So in the end, today was another day in the red. Right now, I honestly feel like crying.
According to internal documents from the Chinese Academy of Social Sciences, the real unemployment rate among those aged 16 to 24 has already exceeded 25%. Yet since July 2024, the authorities have halted the publication of this data, citing adjustments in statistical methods. Sarcasm quickly spread on social media that if the figures are not released, unemployment does not exist. Meanwhile, the number of university graduates in 2025 has hit a new record. The combination of excessive labor supply and a stagnating economy is placing even greater pressure on an already exhausted young generation.
I really can't find a job anymore. So today I tried doing one of those streaming gigs where you don't show your face. You just play music, no face, no body on screen. I streamed for 4 hours, and when I checked what I made, it was 7 yuan. Since I stream through a company, they take 15%. So I'm left with about 4 yuan. 4 hours for 4 yuan. Then I went downstairs and had some noodles that cost 10 yuan. Right now, all I can do is laugh. Really, I can only laugh at this point.
Not only young people who graduate from university without finding a job, but even those already in stable positions now live with the fear that they could be dismissed at any moment. Chinese companies are losing orders, factories are being forced to scale back operations, and the economy as a whole is trending downward. Even veteran employees and managers who once earned high salaries do not know whether their companies will still exist tomorrow or be swallowed by a wave of bankruptcies and layoffs.
我好像又要失业了。虽然现在公司还没有
Looks like I'm about to lose my job again. There hasn't been an official notice from the company yet. But almost all the management positions have been transferred out. What's left now are just the lower-level employees. Our department only had 2 people to begin with, but my boss got transferred too. So now it's just me. I have no idea what the company plans to do from here.
A scholar at Fudan University pointed out that this society has invested far too much in academic degrees and almost nothing in skills, leaving millions of highly educated people now living with no income. Yet the more fundamental problem lies in the education system itself. Over many years, Chinese education, especially higher education, has been transformed into a vast commercial machine. Universities have rushed to open new departments and courses, fixated only on attracting as many students as possible and collecting tuition fees, while showing no concern for what jobs their graduates might obtain. Classrooms are no longer places that cultivate knowledge or professional ethics but markets that sell degrees. So commercialized has so-called higher education become that it has lost its soul. Knowledge has been replaced by profit, and students have become not the subjects of education but merely customers for the universities.
A country doesn't need skyscrapers. It doesn't need cutting-edge high-tech. It's even okay if it's poor for a while. But if 2 professions become corrupt, then all that's waiting for that country is destruction. Those 2 are teachers and doctors. Teachers save people's hearts. And doctors save people's lives. If they can't even hold on to these 2 basic kinds of ethics, there's no future that country can talk about. When teachers become corrupt, the soul of the people breaks. When education turns into a business. When schools turn into factories. When teachers see nothing in their students' future except tutoring fees. What gets produced isn't talent, but selfish, cold people. They may have great grades, but their hearts are empty. Their academic background may look impressive, but their souls have no faith. That kind of education doesn't raise people. It only produces tools. What's even scarier is when teachers stop passing on truth and start planting prejudice. When they stop encouraging thinking and start raising blind obedience. That people loses its ability to criticize. And that's exactly where decline begins.
China's young people are a generation born during the golden era of double-digit growth, yet the reality they now face is the exact opposite. A mother in Chengdu said through tears that her child studied automation but is now selling fruit, and that dreams have become a burden. This generation has lost not only jobs but also trust and hope. They feel that effort no longer matters and that there is nothing left to believe in regarding the country's future. When young people let go, it is not only the economy that collapses but the very spirit of society itself.